For most of his life, Aaron believed that asking for help was a sign of failure. It was this belief, this invisible weight that he carried everywhere. He thought strength meant doing everything on your own. So, he shouldered every burden by himself the long hours at work, the silent grief after losing a loved one, the gnawing fear of not being good enough. He built his life like a fortress, with high walls to keep everyone out, believing this was the only way to stay safe, to stay strong. His business was his pride and joy, a testament to his so-called independence. He poured every ounce of his energy into it, working late nights and early mornings, convinced that his solitary effort was the key to success. He ignored the worried looks from his family and the gentle suggestions from friends to take a break. In his mind, needing a break or needing someone else was a weakness he couldn't afford. He was the architect of his own success, and he would also be the sole pillar holding it all up. But pillars, even the strongest ones, can crack under too much pressure. And that's exactly what happened. The market shifted, a key project fell through, and a series of unforeseen events sent his business into a downward spiral. Aaron fought desperately to keep it afloat, working harder, sleeping less, pushing himself to the absolute limit. He was like a captain trying to single-handedly save a sinking ship, bailing water with a small bucket as the ocean rushed in. The more he struggled, the faster he sank. One night, sitting in his empty office amidst piles of unpaid bills and foreclosure notices, the fortress he had so carefully constructed finally crumbled. The weight of it all came crashing down. He felt a profound sense of emptiness and defeat he had never known before. He picked up his phone, his hand trembling, and called his oldest friend. He hadn't intended to say much, maybe just hear a familiar voice. But when his friend answered, the dam broke. Through choked sobs, Aaron finally spoke the words he had suppressed his entire life. I can't do this by myself. He confessed everything: the failure, the fear, the crushing loneliness. He braced himself for advice, for solutions, for a lecture on what he should have done differently. But his friend offered none of that. He didn't try to fix the problem. He just listened. And then he said, "I'm on my way." He showed up, sat with Aaron in the quiet darkness of the office, and simply stayed. He was just there. That simple act of presence was a lifeline. In that shared silence, Aaron felt something shift within him. It wasn't a magical solution, but it was something more powerful. It was connection. It was the unspoken message that he wasn't alone in his failure, that his work wasn't tied to his success. For the first time, he understood that true strength wasn't about building walls to keep people out, but about having the courage to let them in. That night was the beginning of a new chapter for Aaron. He let the business go. It was painful, like letting go of a part of himself. But in its place, he started rebuilding his life on a completely different foundation. This time, he didn't build it alone. He did it with people. He reached out to family, reconnected with old friends, and even joined a local community group. He started building his life slower, more intentionally. He learned to share his struggles and, just as importantly, to celebrate his small victories with others. He discovered that when he shared his burdens, they became lighter. When he shared his joy, it multiplied. His new life wasn't as flashy or as outwardly successful as his old one, but it was richer. It was more resilient. He learned that independence isn't about never needing anyone. It is about knowing you have a network of people who will be there for you when you do. True strength, he finally realized, wasn't about standing alone like a solitary oak tree, but about being part of a forest, with roots intertwined, supporting each other against the storm. Connection is our greatest strength. If you're carrying everything by yourself, remember Aaron's story. Reaching out isn't a sign of weakness, it's an act of courage. It's the first step toward building a stronger, more connected life. Thank you for watching, and if this story resonated with you, please consider subscribing for more content like this. We'll see you in the next video.